Hello everyone and welcome to the Total Nonstop Racing League for tonight's broadcast of the S2R 125 from the Dover International Speedway. I'm Peter Short, and joining me alongside is Bob Giaquinto. And Bob, great to be here tonight at Dover International Speedway, a fantastic racetrack, one of the racetracks that I look forward to every season here in the Total Nonstop Racing League.
Absolutely, Peter, and this is one of my favorite racetracks of all time to go to and watch a race at, to drive in the iRacing service and just be there at the track. I love Dover, and it always makes some pretty interesting action on the track. These high bank turns, the entry and exit into the corner is going to be key, and a very narrow back straightaway here, and you don't want to do that like you just saw on the screen. It's very, very easy to do, just to get really light coming off the corner, and that's going to be the name of the game for tonight's race, just to manage your car and control it coming out of these corners.
Well, we'll see these drivers here in action here tonight. Only 125 miles, a relatively short event. Of course, we do have the two stage cautions also for these drivers to contend with here tonight, Bob. So a little bit of a sprint race, in my opinion. Three unique segments. Each one of those will be a little bit of a sprint. And looking at what we have in store here tonight, stage 1 will end on lap number 30. Stage number 2 will end on lap number 70. And then it's a 45-lap sprint to the end of the race. Top 8 positions will pay out the bonus points as well. So we'll be keeping that in mind. Here's Tristan Thuggy Maher out there on the racetrack in the Bagcraft number 17 Ford Mustang as he heads off towards turn number 3. And one thing I like about this racetrack that's unique, Bob, in my opinion, is it races like a roller coaster. You jump up out of the corner right there. You mentioned that those exits are so difficult, but just look how you send the car down into the corner. You can almost feel the suspension load up as the car then gets light coming out of the corner there as it goes over that crest. It really is an interesting racetrack, keeps these drivers on their toes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're really going to have to manage the handle of your car and how it handles in old tires versus new tires. Because right there, Peter, you saw it as the car kind of loads up on the suspension, everything kind of pushing down in the ground. And, you kind of have to catch the car as it goes into the corner, and as you're coming out, like up out of the corner, you also have to be prepared for those shocks to spring back up and you get really light coming out of the corner, as we'll kind of see here on board the 50th. Bill Edwards right there got a little bit light coming out of the corner as he sees a bit of trouble ahead of him. That's something you're also going to have to keep an eye out, is just being wary of other drivers' mistakes, especially on that narrow back straightaway. There's a chance for a track blocker pretty much every single lap here at Dover.
And the man you're looking at right now is the number 46 machine, driven by J.D. Laird, fastest in practice here so far in the JDR Graphics number 46 machine. Bob, he's one of those drivers who really likes these racetracks, the tracks that you'd consider drivers' racetrack, that are all about technique, managing your throttle, managing your tires. This racetrack, very abrasive surface. Tire wear will be key here tonight as he gets a little bit sideways out of turn number 2 as the clock hits 0. We'll be going over here into the qualifying session in just a matter of seconds to see who will start on the pole. But J.D. Laird, very, very fast. Got a little bit of extra practice in just to get warmed up for his hot lap, which will be coming up here in just a moment. John Cannizzaro Jr., second in the scoring pylon in practice a little while ago. And it has been John Cannizzaro who is our points leader, believe it or not, Bob. Coming into tonight, we usually talk about John Cannizzaro and his inability to stay consistent, but so far this season he's done a stellar job of rattling out fantastic finishes, and that is why he's our points leader coming into tonight.
Yeah, he really has. He has had one heck of a season in that number 12 machine, the Stay Tuned Sports Ford Mustang. Just a really strong season. He's had great results, and he hasn't been as streaky as we've seen in seasons past, where he may have a great race and then a couple of races he just gets caught out of sorts into a couple incidents and things like that. So he's having a really, really good, strong season, and right now he's trending the right way here qualifying.
Great lap time right there by John Cannizzaro Jr., currently top of the leaderboard. We'll have to see how it all cycles on through. Bill Edwards slotted into second there momentarily. But now we have a new top of the board, and it is going to go to Jason Gracias, the number 1 machine. There you go, finally getting times up there at the top of your screen. Gracias, Thuggy Maher, Ben Izenga, John Canizaro Jr., and Matt White back in the field in number 48. There he is, out there on the racetrack in his number 48 Toyota. We'll see what he can do here, as now Bill Edwards in the number 50 is going to slot into second. Another driver who's been putting together a good season, Ben Izenga, though, S2R, Silent Syndicate Racing. Of course, last week we had a race sponsored by Silent Syndicate Racing. Now we have another race sponsored by Silent Syndicate Racing. Big shout out to them in the S2R 125 here tonight. Ben Izenga being one of those S2R drivers, with Bill Edwards currently sitting second and third. All good for S2R right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. Both very strong runs. Good run for Bill Edwards last week. Ben Izenga unfortunately got caught up in a couple of incidents there for S2R, so hopefully he'll be able to bounce back in tonight's race. Meanwhile, here you're looking at the 28 of Jamar Dumas. He had a pretty strong practice effort. We'll see if he'll be able to follow things up there on his qualifying times. Right now, 10th fastest on the board, with plenty of room to try to get a little more speed going, but right now it's not looking like he's going to be picking up on this next lap.
JD Laird trying to find a smidgen of time to see if he can knock off Jason Gracias, and sure enough, JD Laird top of the board, the number 46, with a 23.228 by a half a tenth over the number 1 of Jason Gracias. JD Laird, how about that? Backing up that practice lap time there, Bob. Going fastest of all, Kyle Zimmer in the number 51, just put in the 10th fastest lap time here. Kevin Stone in the Famucci Ware number 14 out there on the racetrack right now, currently tracking 13th position. We'll see what he can do as he works his way through turn number 3 and 4 and coming to the stripe for the final time here in qualifying. At the line, Kevin Stone will improve his time, but only 1 position gained for Kevin on lap number 2, up to 12th overall. Keith Carball now out there on the racetrack, the only driver who is yet to put in a lap time, currently out there on the racetrack. The Bell South Mobility number 29 here, Bob. But Keith is really looking to lay down a good lap here. It has not been exactly the season that Chevy Camaro wanted so far.
Yeah, certainly not. Has run into a few issues with some incidents and things along those lines. But, Dover is one of those tracks that can really be an equalizer. Sure, it kind of, really highlights a driver's strengths and weaknesses. But I really do think if we get enough on-track issues or incidents, I really do think Keith Carball will be able to move his way up through the field and find his way through this track. Dover is a really tricky track to handle, but I think it's one of those things where the car is definitely going to even out as the run goes along.
Out there on the racetrack right now is the number 7 machine, Garrett Gleason, who is sporting a very interesting fat horse zebra scheme on the front, and it just decides to say, that fat horse zebra is into the inside wall. So good look at that. I'm not exactly sure what the background story is on that, but the racetrack has fallen silent here, folks, and that is going to put an end to the qualifying shootout. JD Laird, the number 46 machine, will be on the pole here tonight, just about 13 seconds away from when we go over into the race session. And Bob, really is going to be one of those races where we are going to have to keep our eyes on the way it's all going to shuffle on out, and keep our eyes on pit strategies. There is limited tire sets here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. That could always play a part in the end of the race. We've seen that a couple of times so far this season. As we bring up tonight's starting lineup for the S2R 125, JD Laird, Jason Gracias on the front row, 2 very, very quick drivers. We know Jason Gracias is really good at saving his tires. We'll keep our eyes on that. Ben Izenga, Bill Edwards, Silent Syndicate Racing making up on row number 2. Tristan Maher, James Arello, one of the other Silent Syndicate Racing machines, on row number 3. David Harvey, who says that he has to leave this race in about 43 minutes. He's hoping that they can click this one on by very quickly, and not exactly sure we'll get done in 43 minutes. That might be a bit too quick, but Harvey will be starting 7th. John Canizaro Jr. in 8th. Matt White, Kyle Zimmer rounding out our top 10, Bob.
In 11th, Jason Freeman on his outside, the 14 of Kevin Stone in row number 6. Row number 7 has John Eckhart and Jamar Dumas in 13th and 14th. And row number 8, the 24 machine of Fernando Matos, and on his outside, the 7 of Garrett Gleason. In row number 9, the 29 of Keith Carball and the 99 of Philip Scott. Good to see him out there on the track. And rounding out the top 20, the 15 machine of Brady Todd, and not putting in a qualifying lap, the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier.
Vincent Valvano, Michael Sibbins, and Jason Shu will make up the 23-car grid here tonight as everyone starts to slowly get rolling. Let's see if anyone runs over the digger cam right here in turn number 1. So far, looks like everyone is electing not to. Oh, we got Matt White. Nope, Matt White didn't run it over. There's Jason Freeman rolling on by. Number 45, John Eckhart got close. Fernando Matos, 29, Keith Carball there on the right. Brady Todd, and good Jason Shu just barely missing it. Boy, oh boy. The camera lives to tell another story. But speaking of stories, there'll be lots of stories here tonight. Getting set to go green, 125 laps, stage breaks on lap number 30, lap number 40, and then 45 lap run to the end of the race. Field rolling through turns number 3 and 4 for the final time before we get set to go green flag. It is a fun racetrack. I always love coming here, and psych, the pace car has elected to do another lap, so we'll get some extra pacing here, Bob, before we get going green. That allows the drivers just to be even more concerned with the start of this race.
Exactly. You know, the pace laps obviously are always pretty nerve-wracking, but especially here at Dover, the high banks on the track. And, you know, one of the things that we haven't mentioned yet, Peter, is green flag pit stops. If we get to that point, pit road is incredibly treacherous, and not only that, it is a slow crawl down pit road. I believe pit road speed is, I think, 40 miles an hour, so you're ripping through the corners 160 some odd miles an hour, having to drop all the way down to 40 off of steep banking. You know, we've seen it in real life where cars have gotten a little too squirrely and caught the pit wall, so anything could happen here tonight at Dover. So this is going to be an interesting one for sure to see how those strategies play out with green flag pit stops and all that sort of thing.
Well, pace car heading through turns number 3 and 4. I think this is for the final time. Want to go check out the chat real fast. The Windsors joining us here tonight, as well as Garrett Gleason saying, I wish I knew I was on camera when I crashed. Garrett, sometimes things just don't go your way there, buddy. But the green flag is coming out here. The flag is in the flagman's hand. There it is. We're about to go racing 125 miles here at Dover International Speedway, not Daytona. And that is a very long wait, but we are now green flag racing here at Dover.
And a good launch there by our pole sitter, the 46 machine of J.D. Laird. He will lead the field coming out of turn number 2, side by side, the rest of the field all the way down. And so far, so good, looking clean all the way down the back straightaway.
Everyone looking good off into turn number 1 and 2. Field all, turn number 3 and 4. Field all looking good. Just making sure everything is okay with the stream here tonight. Fiddle around with a few settings. Hopefully, they're all going to be working out fine here tonight as the field heads down the backstretch. J.D. Laird, Jason Gracias at front 2. Started 1-2. Tristan Dougie Maher has gained a spot there in the number 17. He started in 5th, now running in 4th. Bill Edwards, on the other hand, has fallen back a slot to 5th. Biggest mover so far is Philip Scott, and I was really surprised, Bob, that Philip Scott did not lay down a very good lap time at all. He was all the way back in the 18th position on speed in the number 99 machine. I know he didn't get a whole lot of practice in, but he's definitely one we're going to be keeping our eyes on. We know he has the pace week in and week out here in Total Nonstop Racing League. Can he turn it in to a victory? He's yet to win here in the Total Nonstop Racing League.
Yeah, Peter, I couldn't agree more. Philip is definitely one of the drivers who's always so consistent, always knocking at the door for the win. Not able to get it done quite yet, but I really do think that this season could be the season for Philip. He's always been so close, and I feel like Dover is one of those tracks that really fits his more aggressive style of driving. So I really am interested to see what Phillip is able to do as this race goes on.
Meanwhile, battle up here inside the top 5. Tristan Theggy-Maher, the 17 machine, as caution flag has come out for the first time here. Let's see if we can figure out what happened, hearing that something has happened to the number 17 of, no, excuse me, not number 17, but the number 24 of Fernando Matos. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened here to Fernando on board with the number 24. Comes up out of turn number 2. All is looking good at this present moment in time. Goes off towards turn number 3. There might have been a little bit of help there, because that broke on him very, very quickly and into the outside wall there, Bob.
Yeah, it kind of broke on him in a very weird part of the track where I wouldn't expect the car to snap loose. But let's see if this outside camera view will tell the story. Here he is side by side with the 51 machine. And, oh, yeah, just a little bit of tap coming in from the 22, which on my timing and scoring, that's the 22 of Michael Simmons. So a little bit of tap there, got him squirrely, and, well, the yellow came out from there.
So caution flag number 1 here tonight, Fernando Matos going around. The Windsor saying, wish Bill happy birthday. His birthday was yesterday. Bill, happy birthday. I'd be curious to know what that is, if that's the big century for you or not in that S2R Chevy Camaro. But you know, a very youthful scheme for sure on that number 50 Chevy Camaro. That's for certain. I know we make fun of Bill for that. He's not that old, folks. He's not that old. I promise he's not that old. But somehow it became a running joke. But Bill Edwards out there showing his youthful spirit up there inside the top 6 right now. Good qualifying lap time and a good start to the race. We're about 24 laps away from the end of stage number 1. So far, JD Laird, who's just now joining, has led every single lap. We're under the first caution. But Bob, you look at the point standings that we have right now. You got John Canizaro Jr. leading the points, which to me is a little bit of a surprise. But JT Poole comes into tonight second place in points. JT's not even out there on the racetrack here right now. So JT Poole is going to need a provisional to pick up as many points as he can. Mike Floppy Tellier, who's third place in points, well, you think he might have a lot to gain. He does have a lot to gain. But the number 97 right now is running in 18th. There's a long way left to go, but so far, not exactly what Mike Floppy Tellier you would think would have had in store.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Mike is this far back in the field, unless he's playing a little bit of a strategy run and just kind of feeling out the car right now, seeing what he can do later on to see, you know, if he can make a run. But I'm a little bit surprised he's third place in points right now, has a whole lot to gain. I would kind of look to see him maybe being a little bit more aggressive once this race gets a little bit later on, just to kind of capitalize and maximize his points after tonight.
Green flag back in the air, field getting rolling. We might have had a few drivers back in the pack having a little bit of issues getting back going, but we are nice and clean as we head off into turn number 3 now. There's Mike Floppy Tellier putting the pass on the number 22 machine. Back there for position. Garrett Gleason trying to go around the outside of Kyle Zimmer. No drivers really elected to come down pit road except for Fernando Matos and Matt White. Matt White elected to come down. He got some damage fixed under that caution flag as well. So a bit of a surprise there. Jason Freeman, though, looking racing here in the number 20 Mason Dixon machine as Bill Edwards continuing to slide back through the field. Started this race in 4th, now back to 8th.
Yeah, a bit of a tough break, and honestly, I'm a little bit surprised unless he's, you know, trying to save some extra tire or what the deal is. But, you know, Bill just kind of sliding back more and more each lap, and I'm just not really sure what's going on there, Peter.
Riding on board with the Silent Syndicate Racing number 50 machine. It is a long race, but he's under fire from Kevin Stone and Fanucci there, number 14, the driver who tends to have perpetually bad luck in that Ford Mustang, right behind the bright blue, pink, yellow, green, rainbow vomit with checkerboard S2R, Silent Syndicate Racing Machine, right there, Bill Edwards, and see if Edwards can start turning things around. Tristan Thuggy Maher trying to turn things around, started this race in fifth. He's up to third. Good start so far for Thuggy. Got Ben Izenga right back behind him. And one thing to think about, Bob, is we do, of course, have tire limits here in the Total Non-Stop Racing League. Do you think maybe Bill Edwards might just be saving tire and maybe thinking about the fact that he might not want to use a tire set on lap number 30?
Yeah, honestly, that very well could be. I know these tires are can be pretty decent here at Dover, especially even just coming from the official series in iRacing. Those races are normally about 45, 55 laps, give or take. And if things go green all the way, you can make an entire run on the tires and then some. So I would be a little bit surprised if some of them don't take tires, or I wouldn't be surprised rather if some don't take tires at the stage break, just because you want to save them for the end. You know, Dover's one of those tracks where cautions will tend to breed more cautions, and you want to have fresh tires at the end of the race to try to compete and, you know, pick off some spots on some of the guys who have the older tires. So that very well could be one of the main strategies playing out here for the S2R guys.
Well, Bill has lost another spot. He's now fallen to the 9th position and falling into the clutches of Kevin Stone. Jason Freeman was able to make that pass on Bill Edwards just a little while ago. You see that gap now developing between Jason Freeman in that black machine on the pink number 77 of David Harvey, who sits currently 4th position in points coming into tonight here at Dover International Speedway. But we did mention that he's going to have to call his night here around 9 o'clock Eastern time, so just about half an hour from now. We expect to see David Harvey depart the racetrack. We'll see whether or not that happens or not, But let's talk about 5th place in points. A little bit of a sleeper here. That is the number 51, the Sinorama Ford Mustang of Kyle Zimmer. Comes into tonight, top 5 in points. Just a few points in front of Bill Edwards. A lot of things looking good for the number 51, Bob. He's able to keep that machine nice and clean. Got that really, really, really strong finish earlier this season when he finished 6th at Kansas a couple of weeks ago. But he's one to keep our eyes on because he's fairly consistent with that number 51 machine and knows how to get it to the checkered flag.
Yeah, that's for sure, Peter. And he's had a very sneaky good season. Like you'd said, he's 5th place in points, had that great finish of 6th at Kansas. But, I mean, overall, he's been having a pretty solid season. So I'm looking to see what Kyle can do as this year goes on. But looking out front right now, J.D. Laird has a good gap, just over 0.8 of a second over 2nd place Jason Gracias. And Peter, I'm a little bit surprised that Jason is doing so well here. He had mentioned in our post-race interview last week that Dover isn't one of his best tracks as much as he likes it. So, you know, he's having a pretty good run so far tonight.
Yeah, I think Jason Gracias and Dover just usually don't see eye to eye. Miles the Monster here, which is the big statue just on the other side of this main grandstand right here, can come out and grab those drivers. And Jason Gracias is one that has been bit many times before here. He likes this track. It seemed to like him very much. So we'll see if he can continue to be there. Now, I do want to mention we are about 9 laps away from the first stage caution of the night. We'll keep our eyes on that. Meanwhile, Brady Todd and the number 97, Mike Floppy Telly, are battling back here. Right in front of them, John Eckhart and Jamar Dumas battling it out. So some good battles here right late in stage number 1 that are being had on the racetrack. These 4 cars now kind of herding back together. We're keeping our eyes up towards the front. Ben Izenga's closing in on the back of Tristan Thuggy Maher. This could be a good battle for points here as Ben Izenga, as I say that, dives to the inside. We're side by side in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's a good look there on the bottom. Izenga's definitely got the more preferred line, but Tristan Maher will have more momentum coming out of the corner, up and kind of off of the jump there, so to speak, down the back straightaway. But here they are side by side coming out of turn number 4. It looks like Tristan will still have the spot at the line, but the 07 of Ben Izinga is not making things easy as he'll dive in. Can't quite clear the 17. Now he will, as if he's able to keep it out of the corner.
A good job there by Ben Izinga to get into the top 3. That is worth an extra bonus point at the end of stage number 1. We're coming to 5 laps to the end of the first stage. This is really the only battle for position inside the top 8. Better battles a little bit further back. This one we return to Jamar Dumas, Brady Todd, currently duking it out for 12th. John Eckhart, Mike Floppy Tellier, 14th and 15th back behind them. There's the 97. And then Garrett Gleason finds himself in the number 7 in a little bit better position than where we left him in qualifying. Not in the inside wall, at least not yet. Allison also taking time to reach out and grab that bright yellow number 7. You can't miss it. It's got that animal of some sort on the hood, and I guess on the rear of that number 7 machine there, you see it. A little bit of a look of it, and well, I guess let's ask the chat. I think it's a fat horse zebra combination. Granted, a horse and a zebra are in the same kind of family. Anyone else got any other thoughts or opinions on what this monstrosity on the hood of Garrett Gleason's number 7 might be? I'm not 100% sure. Throwing the 3-wide TV banner on the back of the rear deck hood, so props for that, G. I just don't know what's on your hood there, buddy. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, lap count's winding down, but Bob, if this was any longer, this particular stage, I think Jason Gracias would be able to run down JD Laird as caution is out. Caution number 2 here tonight, and that will be the end of stage number 1. Let's see if we can figure out what brought out this particular stage caution. Here's John Eckhart, the 4th, racing with Mike Floppy Tellier. The 45 comes up the racetrack. Oh, Brady Todd hits the wall, and there's an accordion effect, and oh, Garrett Gleason. I just had to jinx him there. Bob gets a piece of that one. John Eckhart, though, getting the big bad end of the stick, getting a lot of damage with the inside wall.
Yeah, just a tough break there. Wrong place at the wrong time there for Eckhart. And looked like, yeah, the 15 of Brady Todd might have caught the apron there just a tiny bit, sent him up to the wall. 45 wasn't prepared. 97 there involved, and the 7 as well. But definitely getting the worst of that was the 45 of John Eckhart. And we'll see, how much damage that is going to be as we get on board the 7 machine of the Zebra, and we'll take a look at exactly what happened there.
Yeah, not really anything Garrett Gleason could do. 4 drivers receiving damage here under this accident, bringing out the second caution flag of the night. Meanwhile, back out there on the racetrack, we're back live. Here comes JD Laird onto pit road into his pit box as your race leader. We'll pick up the 8 bonus points for winning stage number 1. Jason Gracias right back behind him, was closing in though. That could make stage 2 very, very interesting. Bill Edwards in the number 50 says, I'm going to save a set of tires for later in the race. He's down and away, fuel only on his S2R machine. But JD Laird here, very long pit stop for the driver who has led the opening stage from start to finish. He's going to lose a boatload and a half of positions on pit road, loses 11 spots back to 12th. Bob, that's going to be an interesting talking point as this race goes on. Garrett Gleason stayed out to lead a lap under the caution flag, but we expect to see him come back down pit road. Bill Edwards, on fuel only, though, will inherit the race lead.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that, first of all, JD Laird's pit stop was so long, but Bill Edwards, we had mentioned, Peter, that maybe saving an extra set of tires towards the end of the race. But, I mean, with everyone else having about 13 or 14 second pit stops just to put tires on it and that sort of thing, I'm just kind of wondering how much new tires are going to affect this run. And if I'm Bill Edwards, I'm kind of sitting there saying, all right, well, let's not spin our tires. Let's just kind of go about our race and see what we can do. So it's going to be interesting here as they get ready to go green after this.
Looking at the scoring pylon, this is the good news, Bob. No polyhedral cathedral lucky dog under this caution flag. We've still yet to put any drivers one lap down. We now have at least one driver, though, with significant damage, that being John Eckhart the fourth. We will see whether or not that affects his pace or not when we go back green. Hopefully it does not. We will just have to wait and see, though. Pace car lights are off. We're going to get set to go back racing here on lap number 33. Just under 100 laps to go here at Dover, and that means just under 100 miles as well. Of course, 1 mile racetrack here. That's why they call it the Monster Mile. And we're back to green flag action. Bill Edwards early on the loud pedal this time. And good job not to spin those tires. Bob was a bit concerned that we'd see wheel spin out of the number 50 Chevy Camaro, but he did a great job getting it up and going. Now, let's see what those old tires versus new tires looks like, because here comes Jason Gracias already looking for the race lead.
Yeah, Gracias goes down low. He's going to try to make the move going into 3 and 4. Bill Edwards takes the extreme high line. He's going to lose about 4 or 5 spots right there in that corner itself. So Jason Gracias, our new leader here, and he's looking to try to pull away from the 17 of Tristan Maher.
So we'll get to see in a few laps what the pace differential between Gracias and Bill Edwards looks like. You can already see Bill Edwards losing tons of time. Gracias able to do all he can. Here comes Sean Canizaro with a look to the inside of James Lorello, one of the Silent Syndicate racing machines right there. The number 13 able to hold tough around the outside, looking a little bit further back. Bill Edwards falling into the clutches of Philip Scott, who's gained 10 spots. If he's able to get around Edwards here, he will make it 11 spots since the drop of the green flag. I know he mentioned the fact that he started deep in the field. He will get that spot from Edwards, as Edwards now outside, almost outside of the top 10 driver. J.D. Laird, who lost a lot of spots on pit road. Bob Hardy has picked up a couple of those. He's up to the 5th position already. Very impressive restart for the JDL Graphics Chevrolet.
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering if he made a caught in the wall or something along those lines, just trying to get as much damage fixed as possible. But a little bit further back in the field now, a good battle there between the 14 and the 748 of Matt White. Ben Izinga in the mix as well. Oh man, things got a little bit tight there between the 48 and the wall. But everyone looks to go good here through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and something must have happened to Ben Izinga as well on pit road, because he was up there near the front of the field, just thinking that nothing jumps out to me in terms of his pit lane time, Bob, but Izinga maybe sped on pit road, not 100% sure, because he was up there inside the top 5 before that stage caution came out. I'm not exactly sure what happened to the WestJet 07. He tries to work his way back up through the field as well. Matt White looking to the inside of Jamar Dumas, able to complete the pass, I believe, off turn number 2. Yes, indeed. So Matt White marches his way on forward. Here comes Ben Izinga, get around Jamar Dumas, trying to squeeze his way underneath. Dumas shuts the door. Now we have 39 laps in the books now here at the Dover International Speedway. Just checking on the chat here tonight. RC Plain saying, OMG, Philip, rust, what rust? Of course, Philip was out last week. And able to get back up to speed here pretty quickly. Hopefully you're doing well, RC Plain. It's great to see you here in the chat. Riderly Angle as well. Riderly Angle says, hard to tell from the angle, but I think it's a zebra or something. I think it's a zebra or something. That's probably the best way to say it. So, good battle here for position. Another good battle for position happening up inside the top 3. John Canizaro Jr., a point saver, closing in on the back of Tristan Fuggy Maher here. Bob, and I think if you're John Canizaro, you just have to be patient here right now. You're showing you're fast, but you don't want to use up those tires like we've seen happen to Canizaro on other racetracks.
Yeah, for sure. You know, right now, if I'm Canizaro, I'm just kind of biding my time, waiting for these laps to tick down. You can't really do all that much, and there's, still just over 85 laps to go here in tonight's race. So, plenty of time to just kind of hang out, log laps. You don't really need to be anywhere maybe start making my move a little bit more towards the front when we get closer to lap 70, where the end of the next stage is. But overall, just kind of, cruising right now, and logging laps is the best bet for these drivers.
A little bit further back in the pack, there's really no side-by-side action right now out there on the racetrack. This is the 22 machine, Michael Simmons following Brady Todd, who is now looking to the inside of Keith Carball as they enter turn number 1. Not able to do anything good with it. Going to duck back inside. Meanwhile, there is now side-by-side action out there on the racetrack as Ben Izenga gets to the inside of Philip Scott. They have a little bit of a moment there off of turn number 4, almost a coming together. That would have been bad with all those race cars being so loose at that point. You can just kind of see the car hop into the air, and when that happens, man, any nudge that you get while these cars are completely unloaded, you're going to end up in the inside wall here at Dover International Speedway. Right there, you can even see it. Just really impressive, this particular racetrack in terms of its roller coaster qualities, and makes it a lot of fun to drive, makes it really tricky to drive. We've been talking about that in the pre-show. These drivers doing a really good job, though, here tonight. Bob, I've been impressed with the side-by-side action that we've had, and really a lot of the green flag racing that we've had. I mean, this racetrack, not an easy one, for these drivers to wrestle these cars around. And really, a couple of incidents we have had are, pretty common for this racetrack, but I would say less common than spins, and we haven't seen any driver really spin here tonight so far without contact from someone else.
Yeah, exactly. No self-spins tonight, and that's always a great thing to see. But here at Dover, it's very easy to self-spin, especially coming off the corner. You go down a little bit too low, maybe clip the apron a little bit as you're trying to maximize the best racing line, or try to get to the inside with another driver. It's so easy to just clip that apron, especially on corner exit if you're diamonding the corner, like we're seeing a couple of these drivers out there doing. You just dip that left front tire below the banking there, and it's just going to send your car sideways 9 times out of 10. So a really good race for everyone on the track right now.
That's for certain. There's Jason Gracias leading over Tristan Thuggy Maher. Meanwhile, there's a battle going on right now for third. Right back behind him, that is J.D. Laird in the 46 and John Cannizzaro Jr. J.D., who was our pole sitter, led basically the entire first stage, dropped back with a very long pit stop, and has now got back up into the top 3. Gonna try and open the door for James Arello to get past our points leader, John Cannizzaro. He will slip on through, so move Cannizzaro from 3rd back to 5th in one single lap. One thing that I know we got people at home wondering about, that is, of course, the Windsors asking about Bill Edwards. Well, let's see if we can bring up those lap times here, Bob. And right now, if you compare the leader, Jason Gracias, with Bill Edwards, Edwards is averaging almost a second slower, probably averaging about, 8/10 of a second or so, as Mike Floppy Tellier, the number 97, falls 1 lap down. I believe Tellier is the second driver now 1 lap down. Garrett Gleason has been lapped by Jason Gracias. So some of these drivers now going to need a Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog award at some point. But here's the good news for those drivers. We do have a stage break upcoming in just about 18 laps or so, Bob. I bet you if you're Mike Floppy Tellier, Bill Edwards, or one of these other drivers that are now a lap down or in danger of going a lap down, you want to see a caution sooner than 18 laps from now, though.
Oh, for sure, especially if I'm Bill Edwards right now. I mean, just looking at those lap times on the screen there, averaging about 8/10 to a second slower than the leader. After you do that for a while, you're going to fall off big time. And right there, Bill is the only driver that didn't take tires. Right now, everyone has about 13 to 14 second pit stops the last time they were on, which is usually indicative of them taking 4 tires. So, if I'm Bill, I'm kind of screaming for a caution at any moment. Or if I'm either Mike or Garrett saying, hey, let's get this yellow now, let me get my lap back, and hopefully we stay green until the stage break so I can get, the other driver can get their lap back. So, right now you're just kind of waiting, but if I'm out front, I'm saying, you know what, no cautions, let's just keep this green, Let's keep this race going, and let's get it moving.
Battle right now for the 16th position between Brady Todd, Fernando Matos, and Keith Carball. You see those three on your screen, somewhat in danger of falling a lap down to the torrid pace of our race leader, Jason Gracias, who's now been able to put 1 second on Tristan Thuggy Maher. Now they're able to put 2 seconds on J.D. Laird, who is about 0.6 of a second up the road from James Arello, who has 2 seconds on John Cannizzaro Jr., so the field's starting really to spread out. One battle, though, that we do want to highlight, and this is a good one here. Kyle Zimmer starting to close in on the back of the number 12 machine. Now let's see if we can bring up that lap time history, because you can see Kyle Zimmer been plugging away about a 10th faster per lap than John Cannizzaro Jr. We mentioned earlier that Kyle Zimmer is in the top 5 in points as well, and Zimmer trying to add to his point tally here tonight with another strong run. See if he can run down Cannizzaro before the end of stage number 2. Just about 12.5 laps from right now. Every position inside the top 8 is worth 1 extra bonus point in your points tally. So it's important to try and get as many points as you can. Matt White in the number 8 machine, however, there he is. He's running in front of Ben Izenga. Izenga not quite able to claw away like we exactly expected him to. As caution number 3 or 4. It's number 3 here tonight. We'll go with my gut feel. That's what they say to do in school. Has come out. Let's see if we can figure out why. Here, something may have happened to the number 22, Michael Simmons, in his Toyota Supra. Let's see, Bob gets down there on the apron, all looking good, all looking bad. He's in the outside wall, spins down across the racetrack, and heavy contact with the inside safer barrier.
Yeah, that is a very, very hard hit, and I'm not sure what happened there. And as we go, as the replays happen, the 17 of Tristan Maher had to lock up the brakes from running into our leader, Jason Gracias. But here on the replay, the 22, hard hit. I don't know if he might have caught the apron just a little bit and sent him up into the wall, but really tough break there for the 22 machine.
Let's see if we can catch what happened to Tristan Thuggy Maher. Is on replay. Let's see if we can see what happened here. Looks like maybe Jason Shu would be getting the Lucky Dog Award, and oh man, almost getting, oh no, into the inside wall goes Tristan Thuggy Maher. Locked up the brakes and went around on the backstretch. That is extremely unfortunate for the number 17 machine, who has been putting together such a strong run. Let's get another look at what happened here. Use the long angle shot. Maybe we'll be able to see him close in on the back of the number 3 of Jason Shu. And yeah, I can't really blame Jason Shu for that, because Shu was staying right behind Jason Gracias. See if we can get another look from Jason Shu's number 3 machine here. Here's Jason kind of closing in on the back of the number 1 machine. All looking good, kind of closing up nice and neatly. And maybe he gets on the brakes a little bit there, but I don't know. That's a shame for Thuggy, because Thuggy's been putting together such a great race, and now is going to have problems. Back live scenes here. We got a couple of drivers coming down pit road. John Eckhart the 4th. You can't really see him there. There you go. He's back off the racetrack. Mike Tellier, Garrett Gleason coming down pit road. Michael Simmons on pit road as well. All these drivers trying to get as much damage repaired as possible. Looks like Thuggy Maher, though, going to stay up there in second for this upcoming restart. I guess he thinks that he doesn't have a whole lot of damage. Maybe he doesn't want to come down pit road, give up track position. I don't blame him. But we'll get to find out if Thuggy's got damage or not.
Yeah, we'll see a little bit of cosmetic damage for sure, and that's one of the things with how Dover is. It can certainly be a little bit more aero dependent than most of the other 1 mile racetracks, just because of how high these speeds are. So it's going to be interesting to see how much damage he has, and whether that's going to affect him. I know he only has about 8 laps until the next caution for the stage break. So maybe he's just going to kind of stay out, see what can be what's going to affect his car now, and if he can make any repairs to the car during the stage break, I'm sure he'll be able to head down and get that taken care of then.
So, pace car lights do stay on. A little bit of an eventful caution flag this one. Do you want to make mention, though, the number 3 of Jason Shu picks up our first Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award. If you have not checked out Polyhedral Cathedral's website, really, really cool custom stuff, Bob. A lot of it's like role-play game based, but they have a whole bunch of other custom items, and of course, the winner this season, the luckiest Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog, gets an extra prize at the end of the season, courtesy of Polyhedral Cathedral. So great to have them on board as one of the series sponsors this season.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I was talking with Bronson, the owner of Polyhedral Cathedral, this past weekend, and him and I were kind of coming up with some different designs on what exactly the trophy for the luckiest dog is going to look like. And man, it's going to be a really, really cool prize. I'm excited to get that thing sent out to whoever the luckiest dog is at the end of the season.
So, pace car lights are off, and we'll probably get another one of those Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dogs in a few laps from now, because we're expecting the stage break in 7 laps. That's right, they get a 7-lap sprint here, and then we figure out who picks up the bonus points. We're back green flag racing at Dover. Tristan Thuggy Maher with all that damage on the hood. Can he hold on to a top 8 positions and pick up bonus points? That's a fast J.D. Laird right behind him. Well, I think that's going to be very difficult for Thuggy Maher to hold on to second, but I could be wrong. Meanwhile, back behind him, look at this battle. This is James Varello, the 13, Kyle Zimmer, the 51, and the number 99, biggest mover of the race so far, Philip Scott around the outside.
Well, man, they got really close to that wall coming out of turn number 4, but a great battle between all of these drivers. Unfortunately, looked like the 99 had to get out of the gas a little bit to avoid the wall, and because of that, lost a little bit of momentum. Still more momentum lost as he got tight again coming out of the corner there. So just kind of sliding back a little bit right now is Philip Scott, but up ahead, the 46 J.D. Laird made some pretty quick work around the 17 of Tristan Maher.
Saw Brady Todd was trying to get a shot on him. Looks like he hit the wall coming off turn number 4. With that, maybe even more drivers hitting the wall. Jamar Dumas there in the machine right there to save Team Sports number 28. Looks like he might have caught the wall as well. So action really picking up here. Jason Gracias is your race leader, just 4 laps away from the stage break. J.D. Laird in second. Meanwhile, more close racing back behind them. Bill Edwards, who did come down pit road, took on 4 fresh tires. Interestingly, took on 4 fresh tires here, Bob. I kind of didn't expect him to come down and put on those tires until maybe later in the race. He's now slicing his way through the field. He just got up to the 5th position. Now he does have it up against him here to pick up a whole lot more spots, but you can see how much faster those fresh tires are. He's just caught his teammate, James Varello. You don't expect Lorello to give Bill Edwards too much fight here as we're coming to 2 laps until the stage caution. Edwards closing in now on 3rd position. Tristan Thuggy Maher right in front of him. Edwards got the bit between his teeth here as he tries to pick up as many bonus points as he can before the end of stage number 2. Don't think he's going to run down the front 2, but he's still got a lap and a half to do it.
Yeah, definitely, and I really think that was an interesting strategy call there, Peter, by the 50 of Bill Edwards coming down during that last break. I personally probably would have came down the lap before, but, you know, that being said, now he can stay out, maybe get pick up some extra points there as he makes it look easy to get around the 46 of J.D. Laird.
He just blew one by him around the outside. I'll tell you what, if this was another lap, I think we could be talking, no, Bill Edwards going to try it. He's going to try and win stage number 2. Comes out of turn number 4, not able to do it. Jason Gracias led at the line, and we should see the caution flag fly. There we go. Caution flag is out. Jason Gracias winning stage number 2. We'll see whether or not iRacing scored Bill Edwards in front of Jason Gracias or not when the yellow flag flew. Not 100% sure if Edwards was ahead. Don't think he was ahead when the caution flag finally came out. Looks like he's going to let Gracias on by here. But what a charge, what a spirited charge by Bill Edwards. And I will say, I don't expect him to come down pit road here and put on tires under this caution flag. I expect him to stay out. Maybe come down, put in some extra fuel. That I don't think would hurt him. But that was impressive. Bill Edwards going from the back to the front in just about 7 laps, I think it was. Very, very telling what new tires versus old tires can do here at the Dover International Speedway. Just under 60 laps to go. Field about to head down pit road. That for Bill Edwards. Looks like Edwards is going to stay out. So Gracias, the winner of stage number 2, is the first one on pit road. JD Laird, winner of stage number 1, right back behind him. Good night for these drivers so far. I think Gracias finished second at the end of stage number 1. Got the win in stage number 2. So that Bagcraft Toyota Supra looking racy, even though, Bob, like you mentioned, he said he didn't really, he didn't have a lot of luck here. It wasn't one of his strong suits, Dover International Speedway. So far, looking good for Gracias tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I know there is a casino there at Dover International Speedway. That big building on the back straightaway is the casino. You know, maybe he's pressing his luck just a little bit, but so far, Jason Gracias kind of driving almost like he's trying to fake out the rest of the field by saying, oh, no, I'm not good at this track at all. And here he is, you know, second place in stage 2, winner of second place in stage 1, winner of stage 2. Putting in some pretty darn fast lap times as well. His best lap tonight, 23.7. So, you know, some good runs there for, or pardon me, his best lap was a 23.5. So putting in some pretty quick lap times out there tonight.
So just looking up and down the field, there are some other things to talk about under this caution flag. John Cannizzaro Jr., Jason Freeman, those two drivers running right now in second and third. You see him right there on your screen. Both of those drivers, folks, elected under this caution flag to stay out. They pitted with Bill Edwards on lap number 60. So interesting strategy call by Cannizzaro and Freeman here, but they're going to inherit second and third. So Jason Gracias, who was your race leader before coming down onto pit road, he will be restarting this race in fourth here in just a handful of laps. So fun to see exactly what we will see when all the strategies shake out at the end of the night, as they commonly do. Meanwhile, it has just now hit 9 o'clock. The big question is, this man right here, David Harvey, will he be peeling off the racetrack or not? He said he could stay out to about 9 o'clock Eastern, and it has just hit 9 o'clock Eastern. So we'll find out if the Bristol winner is coming down pit road, or whether or not he can stick it out to the end of the race. Maybe just trying to give us a fictitious storyline here tonight, Bob, in that number 77.
Just trying to, you know, make the headlines and see exactly what he can do. Maybe get some sponsor interest there, as the hood is unsponsored on that 77 machine. So, you know, who knows? Maybe he's just trying to fake out the rest of the competition.
Come to lap number 75, we will have a good shootout to the end of the race here tonight. There's been some really good racing and some interesting storylines, with second place in points not being here tonight. That, of course, being one of the bigger storylines. JT Poole not in the race. Mike Floppy Tellier, third place in points, being involved in an accident and fell one lap down a little while ago. But Tellier was the recipient of the Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award under caution flag number 5, I believe, here tonight. So Mike Tellier back onto the lead lap, running in the 21st position. That puts Garrett Gleason as the driver in the Lucky Dog spot. Michael Simmons in the number 22. We can report that he's taken his Toyota Supra to the garage here at the Bristol International Speedway. Pace car lights are off. We're getting set to go back to racing. David Harvey comes into tonight 4th place in points. If he has to leave early, that could be a big hit for him in the standings. Kyle Zimmer, 5th place. He's in the number 51 machine, and We'll see where he ends up at the night. He's well back in the field right now, maybe sped on pit road or something. But Kyle Zimmer will restart this race back in 17th spot. It's green flag waves. Bill Edwards tries to get the field off into turn number 1, able to hold on. Here comes John Cannizzaro. Both of those drivers put on lap number 60. Cannizzaro might have saved his tires a little bit under that short green flag run, though. Bob maybe wanted that track position. We've seen a lot of pace out of that Texaco Haviland-inspired Ford Mustang. Stay tuned sports on the hood of Cannizzaro's Mustang. Of course, that was a scheme that once upon a time ran, the white Texaco Haviland scheme. So we'll see. It might take him a couple of laps, but so far Edwards and Cannizzaro looking good out front.
Yeah, they're really kind of shot out of a cannon. A good gap there back to third place runner Jason Gracias there. But here's Cannizzaro taking a look. He's trying to catch right onto the back bumper of Bill Edwards. Can't quite get there this time by, but just over a tenth of a second separates these two drivers as there's a car down to the inside wall, able to get things towed away. The 24 machine of Fernando Matos. We stay green, and Cannizzaro right there on the back bumper of Bill Edwards.
Yeah, we'll watch this battle and see if we can go back and get a replay of what happened to Matos here in just a moment. But right now, we're focused on the battle for the race lead. John Cannizzaro Jr. to the inside of Bill Edwards. Edwards, who had that really good qualifying run on the outside of row number 2 at the beginning of the night. John Cannizzaro Jr. started this race in 8th, and now they're duking it out up front. Cannizzaro gets around Edwards to the lead for the first time here tonight. Our points leader picks up the bonus points for leading a lap. That can be key here, as it's a pretty big tally, believe it or not, here in the Total Nonstop Racing League for leading a lap. In fact, if you're wondering at home, it's 3 points. 3 bonus points for leading a lap here in the Total Nonstop Racing Bagcraft Grand National Series here in the S2R 125. So that's going to help that tally, that points tally for our points leader. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened to Fernando Matos, driver, the Brazilian driver of the number 24 machine. There he is, Sanorama of Hollandale on the front of that Ford Mustang. Clipped the apron, Bob, and just kind of went around, unfortunately, into that inside wall. Pretty hefty hit, and that's why he just kind of ground it to a halt. That is a tough break for the driver, who now hails out of Florida, Brazilian born. Let's see if we can go on board with him right here. That's where he clipped the apron. It just unsettled the car as he hit that bump that we've been talking about, and just turned him into the inside wall.
Yeah, a good save there. Unfortunately, had to use the wall to help save him, but that's a tough break.
Back
Fernando
up at the front of the field. John Cannizzaro Jr. is the race leader. Bill Edwards in second. Jason Gracias in third. Jason Gracias has 12 lap fresher tires than the two drivers in front of him. J.D. Laird resides right now in fourth, and Bob, I think J.D. might be just taking it a little bit easy here. I think he realizes that this set of tires that's on the car right now probably has to last him all the way to the end of tonight. And so I think he's backing off a little bit, letting Jason Gracias go out there, tear down some hot laps. Same thing with Cannizzaro and Bill Edwards. Both of those drivers now a couple of seconds up the road from this 46. But I like JD's strategy here. Just take it a little bit easy, let the race come to you, because we have just under 50 laps to go.
Yeah, exactly, Peter. That he's had a great strategy so far, and it's one of those things where he's gonna have to save tires as much as possible, make them last. You don't want to get too much heat in there.
Trying to see if we've lost Bob. I'm not able to hear Bob on my end. Looks like you guys can hear him. I can't hear him on my end. Let me just reset something real fast. I've been having problems here over the last day or two. Just 1 second, folks. Sorry. All right, there we go. Bob, you got me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you now. I'll tell you what. Sometimes these things, technology, I swear. Sorry about that if I interrupted you, but couldn't hear you there for a second. But we got some good racing out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely some great racing, some great tire saving there by the 46 and J.D. Laird. Good runs here in the middle of the pack, and surprisingly enough, Dave Harvey's still out there on the track, has yet to pull it in and park it. We know we had mentioned a few times in the race that he's not going to be able to finish tonight's race, but so far so good. 88 laps in, and he's still out there.
Currently, the 77 is down in the 10th spot, however, just languishing in the back half of the top 10, and might be under fire from the 45, John Eckhart, the fourth, and is overcoming a very hefty earlier accident in the Klondike bar machine. So, all looking good right now for him, as I think I have lost Bob. And I think, there we go, I think we got him back now as I get everything reset again. Hopefully that is not a recurring theme, Bob.
Yeah, hopefully not. I'm not sure if it's my internet that's giving me a hard time here tonight, but yeah, I'm here.
No, it's definitely on my end. I had to completely redo my audio settings over the past day and a half due to computer issues, and the way we have it run here on 3Y TV and the way we have it set up is not exactly the easiest thing in the world to deal with. Meanwhile, it's not the easiest thing in the world to deal with three drivers just absolutely breathing down your neck. John Cannizzaro is your race leader. Bill Edwards wants it, but here comes the fast charging number 1 and number 46. Both of those drivers, JD Laird, Jason Gracias, 12-lap fresher tires, and the two in front of them. Who's going to be the first one to get past John Cannizzaro Jr.? Gracias uses the low line to his advantage, and Alvarello is going to join this fight. 5 cars battling for the race lead.
Wow, Peter, 5 cars all under a blanket for the race lead, and in one lap, John Cannizzaro went from first all the way back to 5th, and just a fantastic battle there. It's been ruined for the last few laps, but able to get around Cannizzaro was the 50th Bill Edwards, and now here's Jason Gracias to the inside of Bill Edwards. He wants the lead, but not so fast. JD Laird hot on the back bumper of Gracias. He's going to look to the inside of Edwards as well as they head off into turn number 1.
Just like that, Bill Edwards goes from the race lead now back to the 4th position as his teammate James Arello slips on by. And I was a little bit concerned, Bob, like I mentioned, that Cannizzaro and Edwards were getting just too far out front. They were on older tires and they were pulling away, and usually that only equates to one thing in my books, and that is that they're running really hard on those tires. Now they're starting to pay for it. The good news, though, if you're a Bill Edwards fan, if he gets another caution flag here, he does still have an extra set of tires on pit lane, and that's going to really help him. I would think, Bob, if we get another caution flag in about 10 to 15 laps, I think Bill Edwards would come down, put on those tires, and be in really good shape for about a 30-lap, 25 to 30-lap shootout for the end of the race.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the best strategy now for the 50 of Edwards. He's got that extra set of tires in the pits, like you had said, and I think about a 25 to 35 lap shootout might be the best bet. And as we're saying that, look at this. Bill Edwards heading down pit road now, and he's saying, you know what, I'm not going to wait for the caution. I'm just going to go down and get some fresh tires now and go at it from there. But let's see if with him hitting, if that's going to drag anyone else down pit road now.
This is a really interesting call. We know he pitted on lap number 60. That's about 70 laps left in the race. So I guess he was thinking that he wouldn't be able to make it on fuel. Now the big question is, what about these other drivers? They pitted on lap number 72 with just about 60 laps to go. Can they make it 60 laps on fuel day? They do run a smaller fuel tank here in the Home Nonstop Racing League, and sometimes that messes with us up here in the booth because it's hard for us to gauge how many laps they are going to have. We saw Ben Izenga come down pit road. John Cannizzaro also on pit road. There's the number 12, Ben Izenga in his pit stall, or coming to his pit stall rather, in his Chevy Camaro. But none of our race leaders coming down at this moment in time. Now, if you're Bill Edwards, I guess you have to wait to hopefully get this field all kind of cycled on through and hope that everyone else has to pit here for the remainder of this race.
Yeah, he went from kind of hoping for a caution to now hoping for no cautions, because right now Bill Edwards is about 2 laps down, all the way back in 21st position, and looks like everyone aside from Jason Freeman, who had pitted at the caution before the last stage break, has come down to pit road. So maybe in about 10-15 laps, we might see the rest of the field come down, but it's going to be interesting now. 31 laps to go. Jason Gracias out front, and fresher tires right behind him there. The 50 of Bill Edwards trying to get one of his laps back. So, this is going to be a really interesting call as the race goes on. What happens? What do you do with tires? What do you do with fuel? Who comes down pit road? Right now, I believe the 20 of Jason Freeman rather, is making his pit stop as well. So everyone who pitted before the stage break coming down pit road now.
Interesting strategy calls out there on the racetrack. We're coming to 30 laps to go, just 30 miles here at the Monster Mile. If this does cycle on through, I can only imagine that Bill Edwards will be in the catbird seat. He just has to wait for all these other drivers to come down, because I don't believe these drivers, like Jason Gracias, have any tire sets left. So that could really work against some of these drivers. There's John Canizaro Jr. Looks like he's got a fresh set of tires on the number 12. That actually might work against my strategy. I think Canizaro has already used one or two sets. I'll have to look to see. Actually, no, I take it back. Looking at my notes here, Bob, they have 3 sets of tires here tonight. So I would think with 3 sets, I think that Gracias still has a set of tires on pit road. So maybe Bill Edwards' strategy might not be the best strategy after all. I don't know. Hard to call here with just under 30 laps to go. We got more drivers coming out pit road. Kevin Stone, John Eckhart on pit lane now. Tristan Thuggy Maher in his pit box. James Arello in the number 13 pitting right now. There goes Lorello down and away. Left side's up on Maher's number 17. Again, that's what I love here about the Total Nonstop Racing League, Bob. Keeps us on our toes all the way to the checkered flag falling.
Exactly. These races are a perfect length where you can have fuel mileage, tire strategy, fuel strategy, just all-out racing, just some fantastic strategies, and it all has to do with the lengths of these races. Really a perfect length to give you all of these different options on how you want to run this race. So it's a lot of fun out there on the track, just watching these drivers compete week in and week out. And this is going to be interesting now. 26 laps to go.
26 laps to go. J.D. Laird in second, 2.4 seconds behind Jason Gracias. Here comes the number 1 machine coming to pit lane this time in his Toyota Supra. That inherits, J.D. Laird inherits the lead. Matt White now up into second in the number 48 Mobile. There is Matt White. Tristan Thuggy Maher, they almost made contact. They might have made contact. They're really close. Off into turn number 1. Not sure if they needed to be that close to one another, but Matt White, we'll see whether or not he elects to come down pit road this time. Yes, he does. Peels off of the bottom side of the racetrack here, and oh no, he misses the pit lane. He's going to have to go another lap. That is very costly for Matt White, as he has to get back up to speed. Going to lose a couple of spots in doing so.
Man, that is so easy to do there. You're carrying so much speed down the back straightaway, and especially with other cars coming around you as well, you really have to get down pit road speed 35 miles an hour. Let's see if Matt White's able to get this one woed up in time. He will, and he goes all the way to the inside to ensure that he makes it down pit road.
So we're looking at J.D. Laird in the number 46 machine. He's continuing to plug away. Now I think he's hoping to see a caution. Philip Scott now up into second. David Harvey up into third. Still out there on the racetrack looking off lap times. Yet to come down pit road. Vincent Alvano in fourth. Bernard Dumas in fifth. Brady Todd, Mike Tellier, Jason Shue, Keith Carball. All those drivers yet to come down and make presumably their final pit stop here tonight under green flag conditions. Bill Edwards in the number 50, he's now back inside the top 10 as they continue to cycle on down pit road. That's the good news for Bill Edwards fans back at home. Still has an extra set of tires on pit lane as well. The bad news, though, for Bill Edwards is he still finds himself one lap down to that man right there, J.D. Laird. In fact, looking at it, if Vincent Valvano comes down pit lane, I think we might be down to just 9 cars on the lead lap as John Eckhart, the fourth, trying to push it up off the corner on those fresher tires to get one of his laps back. Here comes the 07 to the inside. That's Ben Izenga. Izenga now just going to be one lap down. Definitely not the mark that Alexander was hoping for, as he is down in the 18th position. A lot of pace for that 07. Seems to have gone up in smoke, and we're hearing that caution flag has come out. Number 51 has had problems. Kyle Zimmer. What has happened to Kyle Zimmer? This is going to change everything. Bob, what happened here?
Let's see here. Zimmer right there through the middle of the track and just got sideways. And, oh man, couldn't quite save it. He noses it down into the wall, and the yellow flag comes out. And wow, this is going to be interesting to see what happens, who goes where. This is going to be fun.
Kyle Zimmer had just pitted as well just a couple of laps ago, about my math, 3 or 4 laps ago. So maybe cold tires catching out the driver of the Sinorama machine, one of the Sinorama machines, and it is unfortunately not going to be a good night for Kyle Zimmer. We were singing his praises earlier, and things have just not gone his way recently. Meanwhile, speaking of going your way, JD Laird going to come down pit road here. Bob put on a fresh set of tires, and now JD Laird, who this season has looked oh so strong many times, but really hasn't had the luck that he's needed to get to victory lane. More than that, one win he does have to his name at Kansas, and we went basically caution-free minus the stage breaks. But JD looking for win number 2 on the season, down and away. He's going to lose a spot, though, on pit road to the number 99 machine. Philip Scott beats him off pit lane. How about that?
Wow, that was a great stop there for Philip. Philip, a 13.5-second pit stop, whereas JD was 14.5-second pit stop. So that 1 second really wound up making all the difference there. And you know, this is going to be really interesting to see how everyone cycles around, who stays out. Looks like, I'm not entirely sure who actually was the lucky dog in that scenario. So, I mean, before we came to caution, there were, 8, 9 cars on the lead lap. We'll probably open that one up to 9 or 10 cars on the lead lap before we get all the wave arounds as well. So, this is going to be really interesting. The guys who just came down pit road might be on the better strategy just because they have a few lap fresher tires than the rest of the field. So this is going to be interesting now.
And interestingly enough, Bob, this is actually extremely interesting. Brady Todd in the number 15 machine hasn't pitted since lap number 72 on exceptionally old tires, is going to trap a majority of the field 1 lap down because he has elected to not pit under this caution flag. So that's going to negate a lot of wave arounds here in the field, because Brady, we're going to be looking at about 9 drivers on the lead lap. John Cannizzaro in the number 12 will get the wave around, but a majority of the field will not. Jason Gracias, who's led a good portion of this race, is going to be stuck 1 lap down, going to need another caution flag to get back up into the mix. Brady Todd really, I think, making kind of his own strategy call here. Says, you know what, I think we're going to get another caution flag here. Going to kind of come out quickly, going to trap a bunch of these drivers a lap down. He hasn't quite had top 10 pace, but if he can trap those drivers a lap down, doesn't matter if he finishes the last car in the lead lap. It would basically be a top 10. So Brady here kind of thinking of his own interests, and of course saving a set of tires on pit road. That could help him maybe in a little bit, and he's going to inherit the race lead here. You saw John Cannizzaro take the wave around. This is interesting. This is a wild call by the number 15 machine.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. 15 lap shootout. The last time he was on pit road was 44 laps to go, and he's got some ancient tires there on his car. The first thing he's going to have to do is kind of gauge how this restart is going to go. Obviously, with him being the leader, he's the control car. He needs to not spin his tires. He needs to kind of, he already has to know, okay, old tires are not going to be good. He's going to get swarmed there through turns 1 and 2. Just kind of keep it clean and keep the nose pointed in the right direction. He might be able to walk out of here with the top 10 finish. Only 9 cars on the lead lap. So here we go, Peter. This is going to be fun.
And Brady Todd bringing him down really slow. Philip Scott just waiting. He's not going to get a good jump in the number 99 machine around the outside. Brady Todd has a little bit of wheel spin. Here comes Shady Larry going 3 wide off out this contact. Oh my goodness. That did not end well. The 99 of Philip Scott's in the outside wall. And just as I thought things might be going for Philip Scott to try and get his first career win, has all gone awry in turn number 1.
Man, just a tough break. And oh, wow, look at that. Big trouble there. The 99 of Philip Scott. After this, we'll get to that in just a second. Here on the replay, 46 ducked down into the 15. And just lots of carnage there after there on the restart. And then let's keep this this camera here on the 99 of Philip Scott. He's clearly not happy with the 15. And, well, the rest is history there.
Yeah, looks like he got potentially removed from the session there after that particular maneuver as well. Let's see if we can go back to live scenes. Definitely things looking a little bit different than they were a lap or two ago. Jason Gracias in the number 1 became ineligible for the lucky dog. No, is he getting the lucky dog here? Waiting. I think he's getting the lucky dog here. I think Keith Carball might have been the lucky dog under the last caution flag. Gracias just waiting. He will be our Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award under this caution flag. Just waiting to get the all clear from the iRacing officials. There he goes in the number 1 Toyota, but a tough break for the number 99 of Philip Scott, as well as some of the other drivers in that scuffle as well. Took out a good number of them. Let's see if we can get another look of it here. In fact, from the turn 1 camera, we're going to put this one into 3 wide TV slow-mo. There's the move by J.D. Laird down to the inside. Nothing that J.D. Laird could have really done. Got down to the inside. Look at Philip Scott getting that big hit there. Number 77, David Harvey going on his side. Jason Shue might have lucked out with the iRacing gods there. Not 100% sure. Then further back in the pack, watch some of these drivers back here, Bob, because we'll see if any of these other drivers got collected. Garrett Gleason came to a halt. Like everyone else kind of was able to meander their way on through. Let's get another look at that one, though, from the turn 1 cam. This is just a toughie, because the 15, Bob, just did not get a good restart. You see him spinning the tires there. 46 makes a late lunge down to the inside. 13 laps, about 15 laps ago when this happened. You got to be aware that type of thing is going to happen when you open that door and you don't get a good restart. Really nothing that Philip Scott could have done there as well. Right there on that high line. Tough break for Philip, who was making his return to the Grand National Series here tonight. And believe it or not, Bob, maybe I jinxed him. I had it queued up on my end for the number 99 to Philip Scott, because had he had led 1 lap here tonight, 1 lap, he has not led a single lap in his career in the Grand National Series. He's completed now 600, almost 800 laps this season, yet to lead a lap. But he has not led a lap in his entire career here in the Grand National Series, which is mind-boggling. Unfortunately, that stat will continue.
Yeah, that really is surprising, especially with how strong he has been on any number of these tracks and all of these races, and just kind of in his career overall, been a very talented racer. And I'm actually really surprised that he has yet to lead a lap, because he's always there right around the front. And it's a tough break that he wasn't able to lead any laps there. But well, the lights on the pace car are off. We'll have a 10-lap shootout here to finish the race.
I take it back. He has led laps. He's led 18 in his career. So, Philip, I apologize. I thought that you hadn't led a lap, but I thought that was a statistic that we had. But 18 laps led so far in his TNR career out of 4,630 laps run entering into tonight. Not a whole lot. Garrett Gleason has led 8 of 4,827 that he's run. Mike Floppy Tellier is a driver who has driven the most laps in the Grand National Series since Total Nonstop Racing got back in the action. He has ran 5,476 laps entering into tonight's event. Unfortunately for that number 97, he is trapped multiple laps down. Pace car on pit road. Bob, how about a 10-lap shootout here at Dover International Speedway? That sounds good. 10 miles to determine tonight's winner here on 3 Wide TV. Green flag back out. JD Laird, big jump for him. And meanwhile, the field is being stacked up. Jason Shue, the number 3, might have missed the gear there as we headed off into turn number 1. Big stack up back there. And John Canizaro Jr., a points leader in the outside wall.
Yeah, he hit the wall hard there. I'm not sure if he had a hard time getting around the 29 of Keith Carball or the 3 of Jason Shue, but he was just hard hit into the outside wall. That might have damaged the steering as he really could not move after getting stuck in the wall there.
Yeah, ran into the back of Carball and then just shot up into the wall, and that did bring out the caution flag, so we will have to re-rack and do it all over again. Just trying to see, looks like Tristan Thuggy Maher was in the lucky dog spot, so we'll see whether or not Thuggy gets that Polyhedral Cathedral Lucky Dog Award, but a slew of caution flags late here in the S2R 125 in the Total Nonstop Racing Bagcraft Grand National Series. Time to go check out the chat here tonight. Ryder Lee Angle, RC Planes out there, very disappointed with what happened involving Philip Scott a little while ago. Philip in the number 99 machine, if you are wondering. Philip is off the racetrack, 21st place. Looks like where Philip will end up at the end of tonight's show with that more than likely ejection. There goes Tristan Thuggy Maher, though. Good news for him. If you're a Thuggy fan, back on the lead lap, courtesy of Polyhedral Cathedral.
Yeah, it's going to be good seeing Thuggy back there on the lead lap. That'll bring us to, I believe, 9 cars in total on the lead lap. J.D. Laird leading Jamar Dumas, Jason Shue, Bill Edwards, Keith Carball, Jason Gracias, John Canizaro, Brady Todd, and Tristan Maher are the cars on the lead lap. But for Tristan Maher, he's got a lot of cars to pass. Because if you're the lucky dog, you have to start at the end of the longest line. And with that many cars, as you can see in front of him, between being in 9th place versus 8th place, it's going to be a tough task for him. But if we get another caution that we've seen here, a couple of quick cautions, he could be right back up in the mix of things.
Yeah, and of course we have seen caution flags here come out quite a bit recently. Thuggy will, of course, have to start at the tail end of the longest line for this upcoming restart. That is due to the lucky dog. That's one of the things that it gets you. Meanwhile, how about this top 3? J.D. Laird is your race leader. Jamar Dumas, who has had an interesting race back there for the most part, most of this race. Around the 10th position. He's now running in 2nd. Jason Shue in the number 3. They're inside the top 3. Number 3 calling his own number right now. Bill Edwards right there where he started this race in 4th. What a up-down night it has been for Bill Edwards. It was his birthday yesterday. Trying to take home the win as a belated birthday present. Keith Carball inside the top 5. Jason Gracias up to 6th now. Third car on the outside, then Kevin Stone. It seems like the Bad Luck Gremlins staying away from Kevin Stone, at least for now. I shouldn't have said that. And then the 13th, James Arello up there, one of the other S2R machines, although somehow, someway, John Canizaro Jr. is getting back up into a spot there. I don't know, Bob. I have no idea. Because stuff keeps changing here, under caution even. Pace car's off.
We'll see the leader, JD Laird, slowly leading the field towards the restart zone. He's going to hit the gas. Green flag is out. A 6-lap shootout to decide tonight's race. A huge jump there by JD Laird off into the turn, and everyone else follows in behind him, able to get the first 4 cars single filed, and a nice side-by-side battle there coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, here comes Bill Edwards as, we got one car in the inside wall in the backstretch. One car is stopped. That is Ben Izenga, who has come to a halt in the 07 machine. Green flag, though, stays out. There's JD Laird rocketing away from the field. Bill Edwards in second. Then third is Jason Graphix. Jamar Dumas has slipped to fourth. Jason Shu has slipped to fifth. The number 13 there of Lorello is currently 1 lap down. Keith Carbaugh in sixth, getting way up close to Kevin Stone. Stone in the 10th position right now, 1 lap down. We can say that Brady Todd has come down pit road. Not sure what has happened to him. Laird, though, with a big lead at this current junction. 4 laps to go. Battle for second. Edwards versus Gracias. Edwards has an up-down night. Gracias has had a lot of up tonight before the most recent caution flags have been flown, causing them to slide back through the field. Now trying to make up for it late here in the S2R 125. Does not look like it will have an S2R winner unless Bill Edwards can somehow find 1.4 seconds as we come down to 2 laps to go.
Jason Gracias there takes a peek to the outside, can't quite get anything done there. Bill Edwards has the spot and he'll keep it. 2 more laps around. Jason Gracias now, he's going to stick a nose to the inside of the 50 of Bill Edwards. They're going to make a little bit of contact, but everything stays straight here coming out of turn number 2 and all the way down this back straightaway.
1.5 laps to go. They get past the slow car, Ben Izenga. Jason Gracias has the preferred inside groove, but Bill Edwards, can he stay tough around the outside? White flag is in the air. They almost make contact. Gracias able to clear the 50 of Edwards and move up into second. Late move by Jason Gracias, but they're not able to catch this driver right here. JD Laird started this race on the pole in the 46, won stage number 1, and he's going to come out of turn number 4, take home the checkered flag, get the job done here at the Monster Mile. Jason Gracias going to come home in second. Bill Edwards, strong third for him. Jamar Dumas finishing in 4th. Kevin Stone able to keep it clean. Unfortunately, stuck 1 lap down in 10th. But what a crazy final 25 laps here tonight at Dover International Speedway, but a very deserving win for JD Laird.
Yeah, what a great run there to the checkered flag. A great run overall for that 46 machine of JD Laird. A really strong race, like you'd said. He started from the pole, won stage 1. I believe he came in 3rd or 4th, I believe, for stage number 2, and finished this off with the win. And just a fantastic race and a really solid, well put together race for that 46 machine of JD Laird.
Feeling burnouts here on the front straight. Only 8 drivers finishing on the lead lap here tonight. Definitely going to be one of the more interesting finishing results that we're going to have this season here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. But Bob, like we said, it keeps us on our toes all the way to the checkered flag. And that's what we saw here tonight. Great late race battle between Edwards and Gracias, with Gracias getting the nod on that one. But also great burnout here for driver of the number 46 machine of JD Laird. Let's see if we can dial up some post-race interviews with our top 3 finishers here tonight. Going to be interesting to see what these drivers have to say, Bob. And let's see if we can start with tonight's 3rd place finisher, one of the S2R machines. He's actually pushing his teammate Ben Izenga into pit lane right now. So let's let him do that. That's a very gentlemanly thing to do.
Oh, definitely. You got to be out there. You got to help your teammates out. The 07 had a bit of an issue coming across the line with a couple laps to go, got into the inside wall, but was able to cross the line, and Bill Edwards is going to park it right there to the entrance to victory lane.
All right, let's see if we can get Bill Edwards up here in the 3-wide TV booth. Bob, take it away.
Well, I'm up here with the birthday boy himself, Bill Edwards. First of all, happy belated birthday. Great P3 finish. Talk me through your race.
Oh, Huh, that was a fun one. Dover's one of my favorite tracks. I tried a little pit strategy. It almost worked, but third's not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean that was really interesting. Opted to not take tires, only go with fuel there at the end of the first stage. Kind of had to deal with having some pretty old tires there throughout the second stage, and tell me about that battle coming to the line for the second stage. You tracking down Jason Gracias there. We were kind of sitting there saying, "Oh man, if you had one more lap," and as we're saying that, you wound up being side by side coming across the line for that. Just kind of tell me about chasing through all of that stage there.
Yeah, that wasn't my initial plan. I didn't want to take any tires till the end of that second stage, but that actually just that was a lucky yellow. So once I got up there and had new tires, I just decided I was going to make some moves and see if I get some stage points out of it. So yeah, Jason was still pretty quick. Even I think he even had older tires at the end there, and yeah, he was fast. So I just gave it everything I had, but just not quite enough. I didn't want to destroy the tires in 10 laps or whatever it was, but also want to see if I could grab some points. So Jason was quick enough to hang out in front. I can't remember exactly, but I think there might have been like one shot where I could have had a chance right towards the end there, but it's a thin track, cars, and Jason was doing a good job blocking it. So, but yeah, no, it was a fun race. Should still be a good points day. I still don't have the monkey off my back. I need to get me a win one of these times, but it's good points either way.
Well, you certainly came close tonight. Had a great run overall for tonight's race. Looking up now for next week, heading off, I believe, to Lucas Oil Raceway for a double header. What are your thoughts about Lucas Oil, and what do you think your chances are there?
It's a short track. I tend to do a little bit better on short tracks, so I should be all right. Not my most favorite track, and I think we got a couple ringers. I know John and JT are both pretty good at Lucas Oil, so they might be our battle next week. But I like the short tracks. Should be fun. Hopefully I survive to the end.
Well, Bill, congratulations on the third place finish. Before we let you go, do you have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, I got to say hi to my mom. I got to say thanks to everybody for wishing me happy birthday. Got to say, give a shout out to my teammates, James and Ben. I know Ben tried to do the same strategy, but when it came down to lucky dog thing, I was just one ahead of him, so he couldn't get the lucky dog, and I got it. So otherwise, it would have been him in my place. Yeah, you guys up in the booth, TNR for putting all this on, 3Y TV. Yeah, it's just a blast doing this every week, so appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, Bill, congratulations on the third place finish. Looking forward to seeing you out there next week at Lucas Oil.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
Awesome. Well, that is Bill Edwards, our third place finisher for tonight's race. And Peter, I believe you've caught up now with our second place finisher, the one of Jason Gracias.
Ha! And that's where you'd be incorrect there, Bob. We actually have a little bit of a dealer's choice here tonight. Top 5 for Jason Shu in the number 3 machine. Jason, it was a topsy-turvy race, but a top 5 for you in that number 3 machine. Talk us through it, because it was pretty crazy. Had us on our toes all the way to the end. Talks about your gamble.
Yeah, it was a wild and crazy race, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course there is that casino there on the backstretch, and you threw the dice there with a little bit of pit strategy there late. What was kind of going through your mind that set you up for a top 5?
Well, I was getting ready to pit, and all of a sudden the caution come out, so I stayed out, and that trapped a lot of cars a lap down. Then I got my last set of tires there with, 11 to go, and I knew I'd be all right then.
Really, a really good call for you here tonight, getting a top 5. How good is it to get a top 5 off your back?
It feels great. I love Dover. It's one of my favorite tracks to race at.
You did a stellar job here tonight, keeping that number 3 clean. There was one instance there in turn number 1. You kind of went right through one of the drivers. Got the iRacing gods on your side. What was going through your mind when all chaos broke loose in turn number 1?
Yeah, I thought I was going to get caught up in that and get damaged, but somehow it just went through and I got nothing out of it. So it was a good night, though. I mean, we moved on and got a 5th place finish. So got a little loose off of turn 2 there in that one restart, and it did bump the inside wall a little bit, but I still came back and rallied for 5th. So I'll take it.
Well, definitely a good night for you, Jason. And speaking of rolling on, we'll roll on to O'Reilly Raceway Park, Lucas Oil Raceway Park, whatever you want to call it, next week in Indianapolis. What are your thoughts of that racetrack?
That's another fun track. I know you got to run up the high side, so it's a good track.
Well, congratulations. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give out?
I thank my sponsors, Firehouse Grill and Larry's Llama Repair, First Choice Computers, and all you guys in the booth for putting on this, and Gracias and Garrett Gleason and my buddy Freeman. It was a good night.
Absolutely. We heard from Jason Freeman last week that you were both working together and getting some results here tonight at Dover. Jason, best of luck. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
All right. I just had to throw a curveball at you there, Bob, with the 5th place interview. Now let's see if we can pick up tonight's 2nd place finisher. I'll let you take away Jason Gracias. I know we talked to him a lot, but here tonight was a racetrack you didn't really enjoy, Bob.
Yeah, definitely. And this is one of those races where last week we spoke with Jason and said, he likes the track, but the track doesn't like him. And Jason, what are your thoughts there after this P2 finish?
Oh, you guys saw the race, right? Does the track like me?
Well, right now it's looking like it was Miles was a pretty big fan of your work out there. Had a great run, pretty good points day as well. Finished pretty high in the first stage, got the win for the second stage, able to avoid all the carnage there at the end. Just kind of walk me through your race tonight.
I mean, clean air was king, so in practice, I knew who I had to work to keep myself in front of, and I knew JD was going to be tough competition. Throughout practice, we were pretty close in that first stage. He hit the wall, so he had some damage. So I don't know if that hurt him at the end of the stage, but I was reeling him in towards the end of the stage, and the caution came out. And then he sat on pit road to get his damage fixed, and I kind of flipped the race in my favor. And then from there, I just had to be defensive. And then stage 3 could have been a fuel mileage race, but I decided to try like a Richmond attack from like this past Sunday and just attack, and pit, and then cycle around and hope I get the lead at the end, which I think it would have worked in my favor. But unfortunately, Miles said no, and he made somebody wreck. So it hurts. Luckily I got back to second. But even if there was a green-white checkered at the end, I had nothing for JD. He had fresher tires, and I think he knew exactly where to put his car to keep me at an air disadvantage. So congrats to JD. I know he's had a rough season, but he has 2 wins now, so good for him. Hopefully we see him out on the track more often.
Yeah, definitely. And, looking forward now next week, the doubleheader at Lucas Oil Raceway or Indianapolis Raceway Park, or whatever you want to name the track now. What are your thoughts going there next week?
I don't know. I like ORP, so we'll see what happens. There's a lot of guys that are in the chase hunt, so I'm just going to try to run my race, avoid any contact, try to keep the car up front. But rumor has it there's an invert for race 2, so maybe I'll just sandbag at race 1 and take the invert and try to run away in race 2.
Also, a lot of differing strategies going into next week's race. Jason, can't wait to see you out there next week, see what you can do. And before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs for us?
Yeah, shout out to BagcraftCornhole.com. We had them on the hood all season, and the last couple of weeks, I think it's 200 runner-ups. A lot of TV time, so hopefully you guys in the YouTube chat go over to BagcraftCornhole.com, pick up a shirt, sticker, hoodie, hat, whatever. I know he has his cool new item. It's a cornhole scorekeeper. There's a wood version and a black version. So make sure you buy a couple of those. Looks like they're quality products at a quality price. Thanks to the admin team here, David Hoots, Race Control, makes our job so much easier. Garrett Gleason for throwing the league together. MaxGraphics.co, Max Graphics for Starling for the fire paint schemes. I know my cars have always been on point, whether it's here or any other league that you watch us in. And thanks to ITV for taking time out to broadcast these races. Hopefully, in the future, you guys will catch me one spot better in Victory Lane.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to see you there in Victory Lane, Jason. Congratulations on P2, and looking forward to seeing you out there next week at IRP.
Yep. See you guys next week.
Awesome. Well, Jason Gracias, our second place finisher, and I believe, Peter, you're down in Victory Lane with our winner, JD Laird.
Yeah, I'm running down to Victory Lane right now because I got hung up with Miles the Monster. Because Miles the Monster, once he grabs you, it's hard to get away. But JD Laird finally catching up with him. Started this race on the pole, ran the fastest lap in practice, the fastest lap in qualifying, and ends up winning the race. The only hiccup for your night, JD, was stage number 2, a very long pit stop after stage number 1, which I'm very curious about what exactly caused that, but got that win stage 1, and of course the checkers here tonight. Walk us through your race and how you got back up to the front. A gutsy late race call to stay out got you in position to win the race.
Thank you. The reason why the pit stop on the first stage took so long after the first stage is I decided to completely scratch up the right side of my car, and I knew that I like the way I popped the wall. I'm like, okay, these cars are made out of paper mache, so I have to figure out do I want to risk losing the race in stage 2 and just getting more mad, or do I fix this car? And there was about 12 and a half, 13 seconds of damage in there, so I had to fix that, and it woke the car back up. So after that, we get through stage 3, we get to the final stage, and kind of did a little bit of math in my head, and thinking if we can make it this far on a half tank, then we could potentially make it. And I knew before I started clutching, about maybe 20 laps into the run, that I was 2 laps short. So I'm like, okay, I can save 2 laps at Dover easy, just doing what I normally do and just kind of cruise. And everybody started dropping off, and I'm looking at my fuel number just to make sure I'm not crazy. And I'm like, you can make it. So I don't know why everybody's burning the tires up, because you go 2 laps down. You have to make up 48 seconds minimum around there to at least have a shot. And by the time Jason pit, Bill Edwards was, I think he was still 1 lap down, but not that far in front of Jason. So I'm like, okay, I have at least a 35, 40 second lead. The tire fall off is not going to, it's not going to go his way. By the time he gets to me, we're going to be cruising. So I got lucky with the caution, and then I don't know what happened on that restart. I knew going in that restart where it seemed like the whole field junked where I got put to the apron. I knew it was going to be bad, just because there was a destroyed car on old tires, and Dover is not very kind. So I watched him get to second gear, and I'm like, okay, I'm rolling up on him slightly, and then he drops it into third, and it pitched one way, and I'm like, I gotta go, because I got tires on the outside of me. I can't if I'm stuck behind him, this race is over. And I was, I believe, beside him by the time I got to turn 1, and next thing you know, I'm on the apron, and they're all dying off my right side. So I have zero idea what happened. I haven't looked at it yet, but anyway, yeah, I got a little lucky. I'll take lucky than good, especially with this little cat of a paint scheme that I got. I hate that I reference this car, but this car has done me so good, and it's just nice to finally do her justice and go back to back.
Well, you definitely put on a good show for the fans all night long here tonight at Dover, going from the front to mid-pack, back up to the front, back to mid-pack, and then keeping us on our toes all the way to the checkered flag. And the one thing I will say is this is a driver's racetrack. I mean, you go through your strategy, the fact that you felt like you could save enough fuel, you could back out earlier, just use that slightly different driving style to your advantage, get you to the end. And I think at the end, you kind of feel like you could have won the race both ways. I love when you come to these racetracks, you keep the commentators on their toes. You get to go out there, attack the race how you want to attack the race. And for you attack the race just enough to get the checkered flag here tonight. Next week, we go to Lucas Oil Raceway Park. It is a double header at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, a very different racetrack than what we saw here tonight, a track that is notoriously difficult to pass at. What are your thoughts about that one next week?
I won't be there. I will be in the virtual Bristol, getting Donnie prepped for the Coke Series race because they're going to the dirt, and it's gonna be me studying a lot of races, trying to follow lines and see how the track burns in, how everybody races, because this is gonna be new for the Coke Series running on dirt. So it's gonna be a task, and I have to dedicate the time to Donnie because he deserves it. I owe that to him. So I will sadly keep the car back at the shop for another week. I think you guys are actually off after IRP, so I think the car's going to stay in the shop for a while. But I had that doubleheader on my list, thinking if I can make it, that'd be cool. But sadly I won't. But hopefully it puts on a good show for you guys.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it, and hopefully you can drop in at some point here and drop us a line on 3YTV, and indeed the week after we are off for a week. But JD, victory lane for you. I know you got people that you want to shout out, so let's hear them.
Yeah, I just got to give a shout out to all the E-Racer sponsors. E-Racer, obviously, Valvoline, Blue Emu, my personal sponsors, Langford Farms, Spirited by Brad, Valvoline, JDR Graphics, which is me, all my friends that don't tune into these races until the very end. Shout out for everybody at TNR putting up with my antics as well as everybody else's, and you guys for putting on the show.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. We'll hopefully see you in a few weeks' time back out here on the racetrack. But until then, best of luck, JD, and go paint some beautiful race cars.
Gonna try to, at least. I got a few coming up. Maybe one for the Bristol truck race in real life. Hint, wink, nudge. Not entirely sure, but yes, it's happening. But yeah, I will be painting the pretty race cars.
Hey, you're in good company here. Garrett Gleason once upon a time painted a machine for Mr. Robbie Gordon himself, and it happened to make its debut at Bristol Motor Speedway once upon a time. You're in good company here at TNR. JD, best of luck, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for our post-race interviews here, Bob. Definitely an interesting night and some interesting twists and turns here in the S2R 125. Let's see if we can bring up those final race results for everyone back at home. Taking home the win, J.D. Laird. Jason Gracia is finishing in second. In fact, started first and second here tonight. Bill Edwards started fourth, finishing in third. Jamar Dumas rounding out our top four. Jason Chu getting his top five here tonight. Keith Carbaugh in sixth. Tristan Maher, John Canizaro Jr. Canizaro joined us in the chat just a little while ago. Mentioned that he had a screen freeze there, and that's what put him in the outside wall late in the race. James Arello, first driver, one lap down, and back behind him, Kevin Stone running at our top 10 there, Bob.
In 11th, Jason Freeman had a pretty good run. Started 11th, finished 11th. Matt White in 12th. In 13th, John Eckhart. In 14th, Garrett Gleason. Mike Floppy Tellier in 15th. Kyle Zimmer, 16th. Vinny Valvano in 17th. Ben Izinga, 18th. Brady Todd in 19th. And David Harvey rounds out the top 20 with Philip Scott 21st, Fernando Matos in 22nd, and in 23rd, the 22 machine of Michael Simmons.
So that's going to do it here for tonight's S2R 125 at Dover International Speedway. Next week, like I mentioned, we're going to Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. It'll be a lot of fun to go to that short track, Bob. Notoriously difficult to pass there, unlike what we saw here tonight at Dover International Speedway. So we might see some bumping and banging. We're going to see some drivers go into the high line and go into the inside line. It's going to be another interesting one. Of course, it being a doubleheader, maybe we'll see an inversion. I don't know. But folks are going to have to tune in for that one next week, Bob.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of those tracks where you almost have to race it like a dirt track, where you could either take that slider line all the way down low and try to push up towards the top coming out of the corner, or you stay high the entire time. It's going to be really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing the different strategies and how they play out next week at IRP.
Going to be a lot of fun, folks. Make sure you tune in for that 8:05 Eastern next week. April 11th, 2022, just flying on by. But until then, stay safe and all that good stuff, and we shall see ya.